state your name and keep it to 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Bella, and I'm part of the Active Firewise. It's been advertised on the Facebook pages. It's a nonprofit organization that is overseen by a nonprofit organization, NFP. There's no cost to anybody to be part of the Firewise community. You and 8 neighbors, and it's general maintenance of your house, which you already do. It requires 1 hour, one household for the year to be in a Firewise meeting. That's your commitment, is 1 hour for the whole year. And we just do a 3-year plan, and this will help you to get insurance in the future if you've been denied, or get a discount if you currently have insurance. And the discounts are significant. She just got her renewal for her Mercury, and it's very good discount. So feel free to reach out if you want more information. It's not a government organization whatsoever. It's just to help homeowners. And then the more homes we get in, the more we apply for grants that help the seniors here who have to make a decision whether to pay $16,000 to trim their tree or the $16,000 for their insurance. This is where we can come in and we can do the trees for them.
Do you have a phone number?
Yes, it's 661-409-4000.
And then we ask for who?
Heather.
Heather.
Yes. Labella. L-A-B-E-L-L-A.
L-A-B-E-L-L-A.
Labella.
On the bill.
So is there an active Firewise community group?
We have 2 pending right now, 200 homes. We have an HOA with 192, and then we have 8 homes over by the Acton Cemetery. And we'll be the first ones to get the certificate, and then we can find out exactly how much the insurance companies are going to give us for being in the community, because they report in October and March.
Okay, I apologize, I didn't ask the question properly. Is there a Firewise organization, like activefirewise.org or what?
Yes, I created that, a nonprofit, Active Firewise Inc. And so I'm going to be building the website. So this has been in the process for 2 months now. So I'm still new to this.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is we have some announcements that are coming up. We have Community Wildfire Protection Plan, things ongoing. There's the next round of outreach. The county's putting together these plans, and each community is supposed to have one, and it's supposed to assist in these Firewise organization development. So I was wondering, have you participated in the county CWP, or?
We're working right now. We just started with the Firewise program and CAL FIRE and with the LA Fire Department. So,
okay, because this is an effort that regional planning is doing, so we really, in fact, one of the things we have to talk about in the planning committee is I need input from the community on where, if there are areas within Active where there needs to be brush clearance done, like specific canyons or certain areas, because we've been asked to turn that information over to regional planning as soon as possible. So actually, we're not going to get to that committee until probably the end of the meeting, so it's going to be a long time. So if you were all gone, I'll understand, but please, if you know of any place in Active where brush clearance needs to happen, either, it could be private property, it could be property owned by a utility company, we understand it's a problem out in the East End. Email the Acton Town Council, let us know where those areas are, we'll package the information and turn it over to regional planning. And I also wanted you to know, so I don't know if you're staying for the
I'll stay for the end, but with the Firewise, it's strictly for private, for homeowners.
Right, but it's a sort of a dovetail,
Yeah.
it's all kind of, so if you could maybe participate in CWPP, I think it's on 2 or 3 days, I can't remember my notes, for input on the county from regional planning on developing community wildfire protection plans. So there's a really good sort of dovetail here, so that would be great.
Definitely.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Any other community comments? All right, go on. Announcements, correspondence.
Okay. Because we haven't met for about 6 weeks, there's a lot. First of all, the Acton Ogdenville City Arts Council has opened its Fall Fantasy Art Show on September 14th, featuring artwork by talented community members. It is all happening at 33330, so 33330 Santiago Road in Acton. The hours, in Acton obviously, the hours are Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, Palmdale Eats is running an event from September 21 to October 4, where 15 local restaurants will offer special meals and dishes. It's a great mix of Thai, Creole, Italian, Mexican, Japanese, Indian. It's my favorite, like Molly's and Chandra's Thai restaurant. That's great too. So there's special dishes that they're preparing during that time. So October 17th of 2025, the Acton Community Club will be, or Community Center will be hosting a Halloween-themed paint night. So you can check out their website for more details. The High Desert Medical Group is hosting a Senior Health Expo on Thursday, October 16th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the AV Fairgrounds to provide senior information, flu shots, and entertainment. The Agua Dulce Fair and Parade, put on by the Agua Dulce Women's Club, is coming up on September 20th. The parade starts at 4, the fair opens at 5, and vendor shopping starts at 2, and it's always a fun time. The Queen's Rubber Duck Race is on. It is sponsored by the Kiwanis Club, and the Acton Court is open to sell 50 or more ducks. They're rubber ducks and not real ducks. The race is September 19th at 6 p.m. at Dry Town. If you're interested, please contact the town council and we will send you a link. I have things for you to post on the website, by the way. The Antelope Valley Fair is also coming up from September 24th to 28th. The 24th, especially as you pay one gate fare and have admission to all events, and on the 25th, seniors, kids, and veterans are all free. The LA County Library Bookmark Design Contest is going on. Entry categories are for kindergarten to grades 2 to 2nd grade, then from grades 3 to 5, grades 6 to 8, and grades 9 to 12. You can pick up entry forms at the library here. Okay. All right. That's what it said. Just make sure.
I was going to talk about it too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's just because less you get to hear me. So.
Could you, I have to get around it. Could you forward, because I didn't have a flyer, could you forward a flyer or something to the school district, please?
To the school districts should have gotten them. I'll double check.
Well, I never know. I always
Yeah.
push it out to them, but I didn't. If I don't have a flyer, it's harder to do, and so that would be great. Okay. A pet adoption event is going on specifically at the Lancaster Animal Shelter from September 15th to the 30th. All spay or neuter and microchip fees are covered. The only thing you have to pay is a $20 license fee for if the dog or animal is spayed or neutered. If you're over 60, it's only $7.50. So there's a little less you have to pay for it than you can pay. And all the dogs I've ever had in my life have been pound dogs. They've been great, so I highly recommend it. The county has drafted something called the Santa Clara River Watershed Plan that affects Acton. Comments are due September 28th. Fortunately, we have an opportunity to learn more about it because we have our last watershed coordinator presenting tonight. The state is taking testimony from the public on the Zone 0 regulations from 10:30 to 5 p.m. on Thursday, September 18th. Zone 0 means the first 5 feet around a structure. The legislature requires the Board of Forestry and Fire Protection to establish I call it an ember-resistant defensible zone within 5 feet of the structure, and pass the regulations must be passed by December 31st of this year. What that means is that they can have nothing combustible within 5 feet of the structure, including eaves, fences, and shade structures. At least that's how I understand the regulations are written. They're taking comment on it. Among other things, we have in this community some old precious wooden structures that are all made of wood. So I don't quite know how those structures will comply. So if anybody knows people who own those structures, they might want to call in.
They just recommend right now to paint them. If they have exposed dry wood, just to paint them fresh,
Okay.
fresh coat. And now,
Okay, well, maybe they'll, because last I heard you couldn't have anything combustible within 5 feet of the wall. I'm like, well, the wall's combustible.
yeah, they're mainly going to replace the mulch with rocks.
Oh, okay.
And then fresh coat of paint, only if it's exposed wood or dry.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Let's see, we'll have I think we have a flyer, or we will have a flyer up. If you want to know you are supposed to RSVP if you're coming in person. They'll take comments, prioritizing in-person comments, and then they'll get to call-in comments if they have time. The town council learned a few weeks ago that the county adopted an ordinance that allows people to open up restaurants in their homes and serve food to diners in their backyard. The only requirement is that they get a license and don't put up signs. The county is moving forward with their community wildfire protection program. It looks like they have changed direction, that they are not going to be adopting an ordinance, which is what they originally planned on doing, which we were not happy with because it was very problematic. But instead, they're doing a good job here, I think, in working with individual communities to come up with tailored plans to prioritize local issues like access and brush clearance. The first round of outreach was completed in August, and they are starting their second round. The meetings that pertains to our area is scheduled for September 23rd from 6 to 7:30. Registration is required, so please see the flyer that will soon be posted on our website. They are also conducting surveys. There's 2 different surveys for the CWD Community Wildfire Protection Plan. You'll find their website on the flyer as well. Please encourage everybody to go to their website and fill out their surveys there. I think they're really trying to tailor the plan to each community, so we really need to get input. And I want to support them on this since they're not doing that terrible work.
Yeah.
The regional planning staff will be giving a presentation to the planning commission on the renewable energy ordinance this Wednesday. Hot off the press, we just found out about it this morning. This is the first, it's the first substantive matter on the agenda. The meeting starts at 9, so I will be tuning in and encourage everybody else to tune in as well. The county is updating their oak tree permit requirements and making them more stringent, but I have confirmed with the county that the action only affects oak trees, so it should not have too big an impact on Acton, since most of our oak trees are within the monument and south of the river. The county is going to be preparing a general plan tune-up. According to staff, it is to bring the general plan into conformance with the zoning code and planning policies. Staff was asked, and town council sent them an email asking why they are doing this, since state law requires the county to bring the zoning code and planning policies into the plan into the general plan, and not the other way around. In response, we were told that the matter would be discussed with the planning commission on October 15th. So I encourage everybody to tune in on October 15th. I'll include this as an announcement.
Larry will too, is that like?
We will find out. All right, the county is now moving forward with an Antelope Valley water plan, which is something that we need to keep our eyes on, since the county water plan is not working out well for our community so far. Josie from the Department of Public Works really has done a great job. She's working hard to ensure that rural residents who are not customers of any water district or served by a municipal water company are properly represented. If any member of the public would like to help us stay on top of this and can attend these meetings, that would be greatly appreciated. If you're interested, please contact the town council. Finally, the Superior Court of LA County is looking for civic-minded residents to apply for the 2026-2027 civil grand jury. The civil grand jury gets the opportunity to examine the work of LA County agencies to achieve greater transparency and accountability.
I might have to find some time.
Yeah. Jurors receive in-depth training and briefings before engaging in reviews that may extend over several weeks or months. No prior jury service or investigative background is needed, just a commitment to public service. Applications are due by November 1. We did not get a flyer on this, but if you're interested, email us and we'll forward you the email that you received.
Are they paying?
I don't put it in ours. I couldn't tell you.
If it is, I'm sure it's not. Well,
They might give me a parking spot.
if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. June, you said you had some dates set up. You want to do that now?
Or cool it down?
Yeah.
More like, on
Yeah,
the blood drive for is the Appadocia Women's Club, and it will be on September 17th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then Senator Valaveras is doing the Women's Self-Defense event. It's down in the Acton karate place by the gym across there. And the training is by the Acton Karate. Club and the Los Angeles County Fire Department. The sidewalk city officers.
When is that?
I'm sorry. That's on, I'm sorry, September 20th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Saturday. Yeah, correct. That's the Saturday, right? And the city of Palmdale is doing a special disaster preparedness expo on September 22nd. But it's in the evening this time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Legacy Commons. And then the CERT, they finished the classes last Saturday, and they're doing October 4th, a special one on the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds. So the CERT exercise is a big thing all around. I said, okay. And,
And you have to be certain to attend. It's not open to the public. You have to be certain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a
It's a
culmination.
big, massive.
yeah, we already had the classes, it was done in 4 weeks. And then Acton is having their second time, the Friday movie night on September 26th. Starts at 7 p.m. So far, that's as far as she got. Nancy Harris.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did they say what movie?
She said it, but I'm not familiar with kids and young adults movie.
Yeah.
You didn't say on the page.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think Jackie mentioned the senior expo, which is nice. Priscilla Presley will be the guest speaker this time. Last year was Tony Orlando, it was so nice. Yeah.
All right.
The recycling center, the one at 76 station, I went there. It's open, it has 2 bins there. And it's nice. The seniors club, we made $66 the first time. The second time, I only got $12 because I only had 3 bags. But they do glass now. And they do PVC and other things too, pipes and things.
Oh, PVC
also.
pipes, huh?
Or something, it's a PVC, so I think that's what it stands for. And then the mattress recycling is still on. We have September 20th, October 4th, November 8th, December 13th. And it's like in Lancaster, Palmdale, Lake East. Yeah. The last one is tire recycling. They have the event starting October 25th, and they have 4 sites that they're doing it in Lancaster, Avenue M, Avenue L, and they said from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. you have recycling tires. Free, it says. That's it, thank you.
Jim, you're up. So as far as the library goes, yesterday the Friends of the Library wrapped up their fall book sale. They come in here, they fill this room up with books, and it's a great way to raise money for the library. Friends of the Library, they sponsor programming all throughout the year. They sponsor performers and materials and things so that TN and I can help get all the programming we get. They pay for things like, you guys remember we had the sushi chef come in and do a demonstration. I have had, and then the other most recent one I did was glazing scrambled mugs. And then the artist took those to her studio, fired her kiln, and sent them back to us. All those kind of things are things I normally wouldn't be able to do with the county funds because they're not cheap. But they're nice, they're quality, and with the help of the friends and everyone who supports them, we're able to put those on. So I know a few of you who were
Very nice.
Yeah.
And you provided all the supplies.
Yep, we provide all the supplies for everything. So just appreciate everyone who's able to come out and support. They hold it twice a year, and in case you ever miss them, they do have that little bookstore out in the hallway right here. Supports us just as well. Other things going on, all of our programming is on our website, lacountylibrary.org. Just click events, and then you pick us as the library, and I'll show you everything that we've got scheduled. September is library card sign-up month. So if you don't have a library card, I encourage you to head next door, fill out the application, get one. Because it's library card sign-up month, I got swag we're giving out for all those people who get new cards. If you've already got a card, you can still get some. Just go in, make sure your information's correct, and we'll give you some. So
If we lost our card.
Yeah.
I'll get you a new card, and I'll give you the swag.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I'll come on over there. Hey, it's the one sent off to supervisors, and each supervisor picks a winner in each of those grade categories, and those winners are printed in professional bookmarks and distributed at all 10 libraries.
That's so cool.
It is. A few years ago, maybe it was more than, we had a winner from here, and they actually got a whole huge bag of stuff for professional printed bookmarks and stuff. It was really cool. So I encourage you, if you've got a child in your family or a neighbor, let them know how to fill it out.
They just have to be a resident of Acton. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they have to live within the county.
If there's a flyer on that, can you send it to us? No. No, we can post it. So,
I'll do that right now.
that would be great, and then I can forward it to the school district. You don't have to worry about that. Because we tried to, the county's had some, like, they've had some clean up the bay and protect the water contests. I think it was a couple of years ago, and 2 of the awards were won by Acton students. It really, I mean, there's a lot of artists in this community, so it's, yeah, so it's important. I like to get the schools involved and stuff like that.
And I'll get that out to you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So unless you got any more other questions for me, that's all I've got. All right, you better get over there and get your copy. All right, they close at 8 o'clock. All right, thanks, Jim. Representative, I don't see them. There she is. Let's turn the volume down.
Congressman Whiteside office.
Go ahead, Jen, you're up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I get a thumbs up?
Yep.
Awesome, okay. Oh gosh, can you still see me? I gave it a thumbs up, and I think that was a signal for it to do something. Okay, cool, glad it's working. So I'm Shannon, I'm with Congressman Whiteside's office. I'm going to give 2 quick legislative updates and 1 programming update. So first thing, 1 week ago, the Congressman announced that he joined the Restore Trust in Congress Act, that's HR 5106, which is bipartisan legislation that would ban members of Congress and their families from owning individual stocks or engaging in insider trading. So it's going to prohibit all members of Congress, their spouses, dependent children, and their trustees from owning, buying, or selling individual stocks, securities, commodities, or futures. Upon enactment, individuals would be prohibited from purchasing covered assets and must divest all covered assets at fair market value within 180 days for current members and 90 days for all incoming members, and then the individuals that acquire covered assets through inheritance during their term of service would be required to divest those assets within 90 days of receipt. So in March, Congressman Whiteside became one of only a few members of Congress to voluntarily divest from every public company-specific holding he owned and can convert them into broadly held mutual funds and ETFs to avoid any potential conflicts of interest with his congressional work. So now he's joining a bipartisan group of members to work to require the same divestment from all U.S. representatives. So that's legislative update number 1. Number 2 is, as you may know, the Congressman brings a really deep and personal commitment to solving America's wildfire crisis. It's very close to his heart, so before entering Congress, he co-founded an organization dedicated to combating megafires and advancing fire science. So on the 4th of this month, which I think is, about 10 days ago or so, the Congressman introduced a bipartisan bill to reauthorize the very successful FireGuard program, which utilizes Department of Defense satellites to detect wildfires and distribute that information to firefighting efforts on the ground. As you know, those first few minutes are critical in detecting fires, and the FireGuard program has been very successful in doing so. So this is called the FireGuard Reauthorization Act. It would first establish new pathways to review and integrate satellites and aerial data from private, nonprofit, and public sector sources to improve wildfire detection. Second, it would require DoD to inform Congress about the efficacy of the program, how accurate the detections have been compared to the final fire perimeters, and how quickly alerts reach local responders. And 3, extend the program for another 5 years as opposed to just 1, which is typically what happens. So that's legislative update number 2. Quick programming update. The Service Academy nomination applications are now open. If you know of any students that are seeking a congressional nomination to any of the Service Academies, applications are due by 3 p.m. Pacific time on Halloween, that's Friday. We've got our portal on our website. If you scroll over to services, it's the second option from the bottom of the drop-down menu right above tours and tickets. But as always, the Congressman's office is here to help with federal agencies. If you do want a tour, we help with tours. If you're visiting DC, you can visit the FBI headquarters, Library of Congress. Something I just learned that we help with is lost luggage at an airport. So if something happens and you've got a weird connection and maybe you didn't make your flight and your luggage got there, but it seems to be lost, we also do help try and track that down. We help with Social Security, veterans benefits, small business loans. We're here for you for all of those things. So feel free to call our Valencia office, our Palmdale office. I'm in the Valencia office, but the Palmdale folks are great too. So visit our website, let us know if there's anything we can do to help. And that is my update.
Awesome, thank you. That's good to know. The luggage thing is new for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, me too. It's a little, it's good peace of mind that there's a little backstop. We can try and help locate it.
If I gotta reach out to the congressman for my luggage.
Yeah.
Got it.
I have a question. What is the bill number you're talking about on the wildfire?
The wildfires. So let me pull it up. 1 second, I had it up 1 second ago. One second. Sorry, I'm on my phone. For some reason, Google Meet and my phone are not friends. Or my laptop are not friends. Okay. It's okay, everyone. Sorry, I'm trying to find the bill number.
I'm sorry, I put you in this position.
No, it's all right. I have the other one up. It's okay.
Oh,
The other one was 5106.
yeah.
The other one was 5106, I think.
Right. That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
I can't find the bill number for, I see it on Whiteside's page, but it doesn't have a bill number, it just says bipartisan bill. And even on Gary.
Yeah, I'll have to find
It's
it.
okay, it's not.
It's okay, yeah.
It's somewhere on congress.gov. I can get it to you guys in a second.
Okay, no worries.
Go,
Yeah.
please.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I did not
Of
see
course.
any other rep on, so if there's another rep on, speak now for hold your peace. All right, we'll move along.
Is Chuck not here today?
Okay, Deputy Martinez, I did not see him on either. I'll keep trucking. All right, Santa Clara River Watershed Plan.
Is, you have Amanda on?
I did not see that on, I see FC. Shannon did not see it.
Yeah, all right.
Not really, not really.
We just, send her an email right now.
Well, you know her. I will, Mr. Fostock. Mr. Fostock here. Also.
Well, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it anyway?
Yeah, let me just quick send this.
Yep.
But, okay, so,
I can't find it there.
yeah, can you send her the okay, so we received an email from Mr. Fonestock, who is trying to put together, he's trying to build a home and also an arena that he also wants to be used by the community for community events and roping and things like that. And he has, apparently almost everything is finished for his plans to be approved, except for he's been told by the Department of Public Works, and I believe Josie on tonight?
No.
Oh,
No, neither of these.
He has been told by the Department of Public Works, specifically Waterworks District 37, of which about half of the community are members. Oh, okay, great. Half the community
You're up.
is.
7 o'clock?
Nice appearance. We're running ahead. We're running
Yeah,
ahead.
half the community is served by Waterworks District 37 approximately, and the other half is not. They have their own residential wells. And so, Mr. Fonsack can jump in, but he reached out to us and he has been told by the Department of Public Works that in order to get his water service done, he must not only construct a, 800-foot or 900-foot 12-inch water main to your property, which is fair.
Right,
It's
yeah,
fair.
for the fire and all that.
But also construct a concrete building with a 200 horsepower standby generator installed permanently, not a portable one, so that Waterworks District customers will have water pressure during PSPS events. So he's being asked to install a pump, or I'm sorry, a generator to operate a 200 horsepower pump,
Yeah.
so that all Waterworks District 37 customers can have water during Edison PSPS events.
He's being asked?
Yes.
Yeah,
To
that's
the tune of
In
several
order
hundred,
to connect to the water supply,
to the tune of
Right.
several $100,000.
and I have the agreement right here,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, we've got
That's
it.
laughable.
Yeah.
So, before you jump in, what we've done is we have now communicated with several people at Public Works. I'm disappointed that Josie's not on because she's usually really good about this. She's been copied on all of our communications. Josie is our connection with one of our points of contact with the Department of Public Works. And I've gone through, what we've asked them specifically was for all of their policies, all their regulations, and all their zoning code provisions that compel property owners, individual property owners, to participate in expanding Waterworks District 37 facilities. It's fair, you know, to carry your own load. And if you're the last house and there isn't enough pressure, you might have to put in a new pump down at the pumping station. Yeah, no,
I mean,
the whole
sure,
area. Yeah, except for this is very.
Not the whole district?
Yeah. No, but that's happened, like just right down in this area, Crown Valley and Seagull, there's a whole subdivision that went in the 70s and 80s, and the pressure wasn't enough, so they had to put that's what that little pump station is, right there on Crown Valley Road. So, I mean, it does happen, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so now you're here, so you can be started without me,
Yeah,
so.
so I guess I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because I think, I found out more information once I started pursuing like estimates and talking to contractors and meeting them out there at the pump station and getting kind of like an overview of like why is this generator necessary? What's exactly happening? What exactly are we paying for? What exactly are we doing here? Because that has nothing to do with our project. It has nothing to do with the equestrian center existing. It's all helping the water, the DWP, the water company. And the facilities guys that were out there said, well, our generator we had a portable generator here, but it was stolen. And they have to replace that, and they have to make sure all this, pressure and stuff is in place in order to add any more strain on the system, on the water lines. And so I'm they said, you're the only one constructing anything right now. They said, if anything else comes up, at the same time, you guys could split it. If there's multiple projects, you can all share in the expense of it. But they, I think it's in the agreement here where they did say that, that all the expense would be on me initially if you wanted to pursue this equestrian center and connect to the water and to our project, or find others that would contribute, to other projects that would be going on the same water line that would contribute to it. Or I think it's 5 years. I have 5 years that any projects that come up within 5 years, they would have to pay me. Like I have to pay to have this done now, but then any projects that come in the future, they would send them to me first, and then I would say, well, this is the cost I had to incur to do my project, so you get to split that with me now, and then anybody else would come in, then it would cut into thirds, and then cut into, each project.
That's actually only true for people who tap into the line you're putting in.
Right,
It's not anybody who taps into Waterworks District 37.
Right.
It's just that.
I believe it's just that line.
Oh, that's exactly.
So I'm like, 5 years is gonna go by, everyone's just gonna wait the 5 years.
5 years in one day.
And then after 5 years is up, then everyone's gonna build, and I'm out. I'm like, I'm gonna ask for the bill for this. Like, everybody's so, 5 years. It's between $300,000 and $500,000.
Water lines don't get constructed.
That's building and permits and engineering and everything they want to do. It's construct the building, and the generator itself is a huge, the generator itself is like $125,000 just for a generator that they want out there. And then they want a certain amount of fuel Yeah, I gotta, and then any other requirements, they say any other requirements that make this work, I'll have to make sure it all comes together how they want it to be. So it's kind of open-ended too. It's like, okay, we could approve this, but then, oh, that's not gonna be good enough. We need an extra fuel tank or whatever.
So in response to our communication still ongoing, I pinged them again today saying, you know, we've asked you for this information, we haven't provided it yet, which is why I'm really disappointed Jason's not here. So we'll have to reach out to her separately. But this is what they had indicated, that on their website, it says, let's see, Waterworks District 37, and it's not DWP, it's not the Department of Water Power, that's the City of LA. This is LA County Department of Public Works.
Okay, public works.
And they have something called the Waterworks District. District 37 is Acton, District 40 is Antelope Valley, District 12 or something is in Malibu. But what on their website it says, and this is what we asked them about, it says that, let's see, Waterworks District 37 can and does require, quote, participation in system improvements. But we pointed out that this generator is not a system improvement.
Right, that's what
Your
that.
800 foot is a system improvement, and that's fair. You should pay for it. I had to put it out
Yeah,
on for
all
water.
that,
So
I
it's,
have
yeah.
to do all that.
And then I noticed in what they said in your response you just sent today. which I
Okay, so you
appreciate.
got that?
Yes. They said that district's rules and regulations require that all new developments, regardless of organizational type, address their impact on the water system. And that's fair too. Your impact on the water system is this 800-foot extension that we're going to need, and you will get paid back if anybody connects on that part. But a generator is not part of an impact on the
Right.
water system. It has nothing to do with it. Which is why we have asked them specifically, twice
You
now,
know, and not,
for
right,
their
like-
rules, their regulations, and their policies, which they mentioned right here. And they still have not given it to us. So until they give it to us, this is just my opinion, you all might think differently, it's hard for us to comment on that, but we will apply the pressure to get that from them. And then, once we see what their actual black and white requirements are, except me, so it's gonna cost me.
Sounds great, I think I'm gonna do that.
We have another problem with Waterworks District 37 on another development that will be on the next meeting.
Yes.
So if it isn't too much trouble, could you come back at the next meeting? Because I think everybody agrees with you, but I don't even know.
Well, hopefully by
Since we
then,
don't
we're
have-
gonna-
Yeah, I mean, we could vote on writing a letter, but it's.
There's nothing to write, yeah, there's nothing to write.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think the reason there's a delay is because there's nothing that.
They can't find it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so
There's
this
been a
is.
lot of delays, like I've been dealing with this almost a year.
Yeah.
No,
I was here last time,
yeah.
it was like a year ago.
Well, I mean, you contacted us in August about this particular.
Yeah, this,
so-
But he
I
just-
just finally started getting you guys involved because I was going back and forth with them to get everything kind of like figure out how to pressure on.
Well, and I thought it was crazy, but when you said it originally, I thought, clearly there must be a misunderstanding. There's no way they're asking for what they're asking for. And then it's.
And you saw the
They
agreement.
said it, I was like,
They said.
now I'm really confused, because I still can't believe that they'd be
They
asking.
put it in, right? They put the agreement, right?
Have they said anything about liability? For example, if you went ahead and paid for the generator during a PSPS, it goes out for whatever reason, and then the
And then
fire
you
consumes
maintain
the
it or something.
property, yeah, could you be liable for any damage?
Because I did the construction.
Don't scare them more, Doc.
No, I mean, that's,
But yeah, that's a potential,
it
because I'm
goes to
just,
show how
you know,
ridiculous
they want to
this is.
approve all the plans, and they want to approve everything before it's all done. They want me to manage it and run
Yeah,
it.
of course, yeah.
Of course.
And of
You
course,
have
all
to do
engineers
everything
have
until,
to
and
sign
then
off
give it to
on it.
them.
But the engineers that sign off on all, they would be all responsible, but I got to pay the bill. It's like-
Well, at the root of all of this is Edison and his irresponsibility.
Yes, that's what drives me
Which
crazy.
we will be talking about that and whether or not we should finally play for Edison in the agenda. So,
Today.
not yet, but let me just finish this. So the fact is that what they're allowed to do and require has to be rooted in the code. If it isn't in the code, they can ask all they want, but they can't compel. And what we pointed out in our email last week was that you know, you can require people to participate, but forcing one property owner to pay for something that doesn't even involve their property, is for the benefit of all, 100% benefit to everybody, is not participation in school tuition. So, but it is.
I know.
And so, anyway, so if you could, hopefully we'll have an answer, you know, we're trying to keep in contact with you when we get that, because we really need that. But this is just me personally. I think someday we do need to also talk about your plan to have sort of an RV park up there or something like that. This community already has 3 RV parks, and they all operate illegally. Grotesquely illegally. And so their RV parks are a problem in this town, so I just want you to be prepared for that.
Because like temporary, like set weekend or.
Yeah, but they don't write the conditions that way. It's an RV park, it's an RV park, it's an RV park. And so it just, it's a separate thing, but I just want you to know that's something that's really, we've been spending a lot of time on dealing with other RV parks, and so just be aware of that. But what were you gonna say about the paper?
Well, I was reading today in the LA Times where they predict that the PUC will give the Southern California Edison a 10% increase in their rates on top of the $24 they'll start charging as a maintenance fee in November.
For what?
Because they said so many people have gone to solar that they're not making enough money for the.
Wait, so the $10 is for the
No,
solar as well as the $28?
Well, the $24 is the maintenance fee, and that'll be to every customer.
But that was the cover for the solar. That's
Right.
why they wanted it. Okay.
And then the 10% increase in rates is an increase in rates to pay for the fire prevention.
Okay, fire. But they aren't doing.
They're turning off the power.
And we still get power.
10% more for turning off the power.
But we're already paying more than anyone on the West Coast.
Utilities.
Most of the country.
We're already paying 58 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
During-
Hawaii is the only state that
Right.
pays more than we do.
And soon we will be paying more.
Okay.
So do you,
No, go ahead.
could you maybe come back to the October 6th?
Yeah, this is gonna be the first, Monday, gonna go back to the.
Yeah, the only reason we have moved is the holiday, so, yeah, so it'll be the 6th or whatever.
And hopefully we'll have something by then, and then we can discuss whether to write a letter of comment or what.
And I'll send you any other correspondence between.
We'll keep it in the loop.
I was just struck by their correspondence, that they say that they have to make you address any
Yeah, my
impacts
appeal,
on your water.
my appeal is like,
That's it.
everybody does.
But
When
what
you
they're
make
asking,
water.
what they're asking you to do is not to mitigate the impact on their water. It's nonsense. So. It's a little.
Well, thanks for coming. Sorry about that. Better.
I think you can see we all agree with you.
Thank you, yeah.
I think everybody does.
Yeah. Okay, so, just on, I guess I'm going to grab another.
Excuse me, but that not being mounted.
Yeah, but, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a.
Because that's different. You talked to me.
It's the same, it's the same. That is one of the same, that's what.
Okay, I'm saying, okay.
Yeah.
You talked to me, that's different.
I know.
It was just a slip.
It was a,
Thank you.
A quick right that didn't get fixed. It's
Correct.
my fault. It's my fault.
so, yeah. All right. Damien?
Yes,
Yes, you're up.
thank you, board members and everyone in the community for doing this tonight. We opened our treatment center to help those in need about 2 years ago on Lariat Way up the road. I've been a therapist for about 20 years, and you know, I've seen the decline of people through opioid abuse, alcoholism, and all kinds of other addictions. So we're happy to be here. We've gotten a lot of good support from people in the community, but we've also heard some not complaints, but a lot of maybe questions or concerns that some people in the community might have, and that's why we wanted to take this short amount of time tonight to address some of those concerns. We want you all to know that we have 24-hour staff, 24-hour security. There's more cameras on our property than a police station. So we're definitely, in that regard, a good neighbor. All of our staff has background checks before we hire them. Anyone that comes visit the property that is coming to see one of our residents is background check. Our clients all have.
That's not true.
Could I speak to it?
Yes, go ahead.
So also the lost my train of thought, but also we're good for the economy of the community because we shop here. We get our gas here. Our staff goes to the Acton Market. We go to the barber shop. We go to the nail salon. I mean, the only place in town we don't support is the liquor store, to be honest with you. Apart from that, we're trying to, set an example here, and this is why we wanted to be here, so you guys could ask your questions and your concerns. And I'd also like to make the point that I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I've only been here with this center for 5 months. And I'm a program director, but I'm a therapist as well. And so I hope you guys have seen a change in that last 5 months, and I hope you guys see that we're working very hard to make improvements. And I think over 2 years, there's been probably 3 incidences that have happened. So, it's not a constant thing, but we're here to address the concerns of the community and the neighbors. So I'd like to turn to anybody that'd like to ask any questions.
Do you mind coming up so she can sort of?
And I'm the program director as well as the COO, and this is Kelly Hunter.
I do outreach for the Mountain View.
Yes.
I have a lot of issues with what you say, in that we live next door.
Sure.
And so we see the variety of things that have gone on for the past over a year.
Okay.
And starting with us being lied to by the owners about what the place was.
For a good year, good year.
And they had knowledge that they were going to open that place, or at least apply for a permit 8 or 9 days after they bought the place, but yet lied to us about what was going to be there and how it was going to affect us as a neighborhood and neighbors next door. And it's gone down from there, including the incident where one of the people that was attempting to go to your establishment, walked 2 residences over and was held at gunpoint by a neighbor because they were trying to break into their home.
No,
So you said, we have all the security measures and stuff like that. Where was the person there waiting for them to come? You guys had knowledge that the person was being dropped off by an Uber.
And I agree with you.
And the guy
I completely agree with you.
the guy was
What was it?
overheard saying, the guy was overheard saying, detox told me there was a lot of police on the street to be careful when I came in. So you're warning people that law enforcement was on the street.
Well, I'm not, but I completely agree with you. And are you our right side neighbors?
You bet.
Okay, and I'm sorry, we haven't met, but I've seen you and I've drive in and out. I know that incident. We created a neighborhood watch finder for anything that had happened, and I got all the information. So I've got the dates and I'm aware of it, and I would feel the same if that happened to me. Okay, so I get it. That's why they hired me to come in and clean up any things that were happening. I ran Passages Malibu for 5 years. I had about 250 staff, including everything from psychiatrists to gardeners, all right? And I had 100 patients at any given time. So coming to this small operation, I felt I could really bring something to it and change it and help it. Studies show that a treatment center like ours, a 6-bed treatment center like ours in your community, does not devalue your properties, does not increase crime.
Whoa, whoa.
That's not true.
It is.
No, it's not.
I've been on many
Stop
boards.
it.
I've been on
No,
many
don't say
We
that.
already had a
I'm very
realtor come
worried.
to the meeting and tell us that our street, all our values, they'll look the same, but we're all gonna take a hit, especially us. We're really screwed.
You say detox and they hit the road.
They hit the road,
Yes.
and when you Google us, it shows the whole street, it shows Mountain View Detox. Our realtor came here and agreed, we went from having this great cul-de-sac, which is why we moved there, grandkids could ride their bikes and stuff, to all sorts of cars, the kids aren't allowed to play outside, out in the street anymore. The realtor just said we went from an ideal setting to a bad setting, and there's nothing we can do about it.
So we
We're not
don't-
going to find anybody to admit. If John had lied for a year, we knew what was coming. We had just come back from North Carolina looking at places. We'd have been out. But he lied. Not only did he lie, my husband and my son-in-law were fixing his water pipes when he wasn't home and his water broke. His while he was lying.
Okay, so again, I'll bring that up with him because that was before my time and I'm not privy to that information. I can tell you that our residents are not allowed to be outside in the front. They might be coming in through a car to be dropped off. They only go in the backyard, and it's all fenced, and we watch them 24/7.
You might want to trim that big cover tree that's illegal for the fire code. It goes over the fence both ways, because you can get right in and out, and trust me, they do.
We'd be happy to. Which one?
You want to check that out behind your back fence.
Okay, we'd be happy to. Any constructive criticism as well, I'm happy to take it. Because we would like to do whatever we can to make sure that you guys feel safe that we're there. You know?
I have a question. You said you have security. We've had people dropped off in front of the house with their clothes, all their stuff, leaving. My husband was narcotics undercover for 16 years. We know somebody on drugs when we see somebody on drugs. Your employees went inside, left this guy. Now, eventually he got an Uber and left, but pretty much the guy was coming to your place. So you say you have security. Why isn't somebody going in and dealing with this person? Why are we having to stay because of this?
This must be prior to May. I started May 1st. And since
But I
then.
can tell you things have happened since May 1st. I'm not going to get into it because the Department of Health has come to our house as well as others who are staying, keeping it confidential. And all of our information, cameras, everything is confidential. I'm not going to get into it, but yes, stuff has happened since May 1st.
Well, she came to me too, so we're working with her now.
I know she did.
Yeah, I understand. Again, I appreciate the time. If there's any, you guys are welcome to come look at the facility. If you want us to have an open house on a specific day, we'd be happy to do it.
Yes.
I just want to know what is your, and I'm really sorry that you guys are going through this. What kind of training does your staff have?
So they're all, minimum level is registered behavioral health technicians, so they're registered with DHCS, or CCAP, I should say, correct myself, with CCAP, which is a governing body for addiction. That's the bottom level. We've got LMFTs there, licensed clinical social workers there. We've got Dr. Stanley on staff.
No, I'm talking like your everyday staff that deal with this
That's
stuff.
exactly what I'm talking about.
So BCBA is anything?
Yeah, we have SETDs, we have everything from, like I said, somebody that's a RAD-T all the way up to our LMFTs.
So who manages, if you've got people, you guys have regular staff people that are with these
24 hours
guys
a day.
24/7, right? So those are the people that I'm talking about, that are not monitoring these guys when they come in and they go or what have you.
Right, so there's always a BHT on staff, always, 24 hours, 3 shifts, right? I come in as well, 5-6 days a week. I'm there at least 8 to 10 hours a day. On top of that, we've got, like I said, our social worker comes in 3 days a week, 24 hours a week. We've got our therapist, Britt said was an OMFT, she comes in 18 hours a week. We've got many different people that come in, different people that do different modalities as far as therapeutic modalities. So there's always minimum 2-3 people on site, sometimes more.
No,
except overnight.
Yeah, but I'm talking about not your therapist, not those kind of people.
Those are the BHTs.
All, that's your only staff, I mean, that's your
They're
staff.
registered with CCAP. Yeah.
And you're having issues like this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've had over 100 patients. And so I know there's been some issues, and that's unfortunate, but over the amount of 2 years, or close to 2 years, with over 100 patients that have been in and out, it's been reasonable. I mean, that's workplace.
Next door it hasn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, that, I think you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
As far as the statistics go, but I think it's, again, you're living next to people that these things.
I understand, and I feel for them.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted to come here today to talk to you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, you have 3 incidents in 2 years, right?
Well,
Before you guys came in, we didn't have any incidents in our neighborhood. And I've lived there 35 years. None, 0.
You've never had the police there once, never had an ambulance?
Never,
had a break-in?
never,
Never had a break-in?
never. We've never had a break-in.
You don't understand, this is active, different.
That's a good thing, that's a great thing.
That's why, I mean, that one incident that you guys had, you're so lucky because had that gentleman, retired police officer, popped that guy, you guys would be on the hook.
No, that would have been, I mean, now again, that was before my time, I'm not saying that's okay. I even understand that guy's point of view, even though he's been pretty vocal with me directly and my staff, that's okay.
should.
You know,
So I guess that's all I'm saying, is
Sounds
your,
sweet.
your statistics are good, and they are very
I
valid.
disagree.
No.
4 incidents in 100, that's 4%.
No.
That's bad.
But it's,
That's a bad statistic.
in that type of environment for rehabilitation, that's a very low statistic. It really is, but the problem that I have with these guys is that although it's a low statistic, you're coming into a neighborhood with nothing going on, where it's quiet, it's peaceful, kids can go, they can do what they want to do. They've had no incidents. It is a high number. It is a high percentage when you come into a neighborhood that's had nothing. So that's all I'm saying.
They had one day not too long ago where they had an event where they had 27 cars parked in the.
so,
We
so,
had no idea.
Let's talk about that, because first, there's a lot of questions I have. First of all, you say people are in the back and they can be dropped up with the car. So how can there be a lot of cars parked there, all affiliated with your facility?
so to answer you, that one day, it was July 16th, we had our open house, and it was bringing the therapist.
Before you
No.
have no.
No.
They lied to us. They lied, and we figured out when John said this was their home away from home, but he was from Porter Ranch. We're smart enough, we have enough skills. And we find out John's got this beautiful house in Porter Ranch. So, come on, our little street is not home away from home, and somebody has $1 million+ house in Porter Ranch. Plus, they have another facility in Sun Valley that's ventilators and whatnot. And we went there. It's the same thing.
You don't have another treatment center.
That John and his wife own another
No,
treatment center.
it's a skilled nursing facility. It's
Okay.
for older people.
Okay,
It's
whatever.
different, it's not substance abuse, but it's, I think
I
the
didn't, I
question
said
is.
ventilators, I didn't say substance
It's a
abuse.
different,
Okay, but on July 16th,
yes.
or before.
One week after the
warn
provisional
our
license.
neighbors that there's
No,
going to
It
be all
it was
this.
from 12 to 2 in the afternoon, and we don't have communication with neighbors, unfortunately.
Well, they're right next door.
I mean,
Okay, all
I
right.
tried,
So I have another.
When did you try it? When have you tried it? One person
I
was
waited
trying
until
to
your
talk
husband
to
I was
us,
home all day that day.
I'm sorry?
I was home all day.
and they blocked his car in. Maybe you
I
could
retired.
talk to the retired
Most of the
cop.
It's really important in this town for our businesses to support our community, and not just like shop there, which we appreciate, but I mean, our businesses here participate in the community. Community activities, well, when we used to have the Chamber of Commerce before COVID, they would participate in that. So I'm talking about so that you can hear people, so you can just talk to people, right? Knock on doors, say, hey, we've got this going on, or maybe arrange with some other place in the shuttle, or, you know, so that people don't get parked at night. It's just a little bit, sorry.
Okay, my problem is, starting at the top and working down. To me, the state has no business licensing facility in a neighborhood without notifying the neighbors, just like if it was the county doing it and having to do a CUP. Now, I had a home-based business in my house. It was a hair salon. Back in 1998, I was the first home-based business in LA County to be licensed through the county for a home-based business. I had to get an SUP, special use permit. I had to go to every neighbor on my street, all 8 houses, well 7 because we're the 8th, had to go to every house and get them to sign off on me having a home-based hair salon where I had 1 car coming and going about every hour, 4 to 5 days a week. You didn't have to do anything like that. So I have a problem with the state, with their arrangement on how they license these facilities. If you work at Passages, I'm sure that's a beautiful facility, and I'm sure it's remote and private and secluded. Mountain View Detox is in a neighborhood. You've got neighbors all around you. The location, to me, is just so wrong. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with what you do on the inside of your facility. What you do is great. If there are people that need your services, it's wonderful that you provide that. But the location that was chosen on our street without even notifying the neighbors, where is the owner tonight? And what did they expect by doing this? By sneaking this facility in, because that's what they did, is they snuck it in. And how did they think we were going to react?
He can't get to his car fast enough when he does have to show up.
Well, so for licensure, I mean, there's a lot of points there, but so Passages is on residential street. We had 5 houses amongst about 10 in Malibu overlooking the ocean. So treatment centers are allowed to be 6-bed in residential neighborhoods all over California. Now, as far as how the state goes about it, I'm not a licensing expert, so why they don't talk to the neighbors, I don't know.
Can I just say, I've been to this meeting many times where rehab has been on our agenda before they started. So people in the area could come and attend, and of course, everybody bantered back and forth, but they knew it was coming. It was always like 5 acres or big properties.
That's when
But
we
I've come here many times for those, where they would talk and let everybody know this is what it is, and they would try to deal with people. But to just lie, flat out lie, and then all of a sudden we're screwed because no, we can't sell.
And then the only standards that you're held to, because LA County didn't have anything to do with licensing and approving the facility, they hold you to the same standards as any household with a family.
You know, you can't tell me that if these guys tomorrow decide to sell, the first thing that's going to be on the docket is, oh, we got to disclose that there's a rehab next door. There was not a chance that they could sell their house. Just like the best that's trying to come in here, okay? Down in Canyon Country, they're trying to put in an industrial battery facility in homes are selling in Santa Clarita, and they have it on there right now, on the paper. Best inactive.
Realtor disclosure.
That's not understood, yeah.
That's a scarlet letter right there.
Yeah, and your detox.
And the realtor came to this meeting and said that we would have to disclose the detox.
Yeah, it's not about what you're doing on the inside, because I'm sure you're running a very nice facility and you're getting some great successes for people. But what's happening on the outside, we've been affected, not us personally, but our neighbors have been affected. More than one family has been affected, and it's unfair for you to come into our street I mean, we've been there 33 years, but some of our neighbors are not as long-term as we are. But we have a very tight-knit little street, and all of a sudden this comes in under the radar. How did they expect us to react? That's what I don't understand. The owners should have been here tonight with you.
Unfortunately, they were at a funeral today.
They wouldn't come anyway, please. John,
He was
can't
here
run
last
fast.
time, but I just wanted to say, I've been with Mountain View since the end of March, so we are both there only about 5 months or so, and we definitely care about working with you and making you feel better about.
Buy my house.
I understand, and I want to say that.
Get out of here, because John lied. That house would have been sold.
I mean, is it for sale? Because we can talk about that. Is that what you're asking?
So we need to make it another facility?
Yeah, right.
Or anything next door and have another 5-bed facility
So
here?
end up buying up the street?
I mean, we're here to try to work with you guys, and no, I understand the July 16th thing. I mean, it was a daytime event, it was 2 hours, it was just.
It's common courtesy.
I would have loved to.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and we will do that going forward, although that is not something that is gonna happen on any regular basis at all. And I just want to
Are
say.
you gonna have open houses on a regular basis?
No, we will not, that is gonna happen very infrequently.
Probably once a year.
Maybe once a year, but going forward, we'll certainly communicate with you. And, you know, and like Damien said, we are changing our clientele. I work with a lot of treatment centers. They're mostly in residential neighborhoods, so that is very, very common. And the people that were at our open house are therapists, you know, they're clinicians, people that we're working with to help as many people as we can. And we support each other to help people. So I'm sorry that you've been affected adversely, but we really do want to work with you to make it as good as it can be.
Even aside from the date that there was 27 cars, there have been several days where there have been as many as 9 cars parked on the street and in front of the street.
So let me springboard that. I have several questions.
Many times.
Starting times, we have on camera. Working from that, when you have a client, do you know when they're coming in, how far in advance?
Yes.
Because it doesn't seem in a well-run business that you're going to have
stoned people showing up at 2 a.m. That doesn't sound like a good business plan. So if you could please explain to us, if people can drive their own cars, what arrangements you made for parking, how you accept people, how you come in, how well in advance you know they're going to be there, how it's supposed to work. Would you mind?
Great question. No, what happens is I do a pre-admission, I do a process of pre-admission with every client that wants to come to us to make sure that they're fit for our facility, that we can treat them properly. That's how that starts. The second thing is we don't generally have clients driving themselves in. They're dropped off by someone because they're being referred to by a hospital, by another treatment center, or a family or friend. So usually they drop them off. I try to have them there between 8 and 6 so they can contact our doctor right away and actually have a live Zoom talk with the doctor so that they can adjust medications, whatever, and make sure we do vitals and all these different things. The things that happened with the neighbor across the street at 2 a.m. when the guy went across the street, it was before my time. I mean, I think it's terrible. If it was my house, I would be really pissed off too. I get it, you know? But we've tried to really mitigate that. I try to get all the admissions in during daylight hours, you know?
So with your protocol set up since March or May,
Sure.
that won't happen anymore, or it shouldn't happen?
Well, I mean, it shouldn't happen. We're doing the best that we can to make sure it doesn't.
Well, are people just allowed to drop in on your?
No. No, when you're going into a treatment center, whether it's cash payer insurance, you're still, once we admit you, you're under our care, but we have to do a pre-admission to make sure that you're fit and that you're cleared by our doctor. So we don't just, it's not an open house policy where you just can come in and, we're not a, walking business.
So you've set up protocols, so what happened before won't happen again, or?
Right, so that anytime somebody's being dropped off, somebody's gonna meet them with the driver outside.
What about your back gate?
No, I mean, that's not an access point for our clients.
It's an access, for people it is, to park on the ground, and since you've been there, yeah. So again, you might want to trim that tree, and all that big post with all your cameras and stuff. I don't know if anybody has seen it or if you've noticed. Coming up ground, it's like a joke now that it looks like a landing strip in our backyards, because they put up this, they have all these cameras, but this huge light that goes on at 8:30 every night, and lights everything up.
You want me to
I would like to turn it down, yeah.
We have a light in the backyard just to.
Okay, because Acton Community Standards District,
Yes.
all lights have to be fully shielded.
Yeah, and theirs is not.
And you still have to comply with local zoning regulations,
Right,
even
so-
if you are a state licensed facility.
Sure.
So fully, 100% fully shielded, no illumination on any properties that are not yours.
Has to be.
No problem, I'll have it down tonight.
I have a question. I'm curious, what is your turnover rate? Like, what's their stay typically? And
So
when do you see
for a
them?
residential treatment center, we like them to be there for 30 days. That's our program. Then we want to discharge them to an outpatient center so they can continue treatment. They don't ever stay longer than 30 days. Some will just come in for a week. If they're a corporate exec, they can take more time off and they just want to get sober, they'll come in for a week, 2 weeks. Average probably 21 to 23 days.
So in the last month, how many patients did you have come in total?
The last month was very slow. August, probably total come in and out, 4. Yeah. We're sick bed. We cannot have more than 6 people.
The question I had was about the length of stay. But two other things, what kind of turnover do you have for staff? Is PhD, is that behavioral technician?
Correct. Yeah, no, we don't. We've actually, since I've been there, I let go of 2 people that weren't doing a good job. I've hired a couple other people, and everybody else on the team, I think, has been there since, at least at least since I've been there. Yeah.
It might be interesting to know that in all these cul-de-sacs nearby, we just live one up. It's practice that if you're having a party or a gathering or something, that you include the neighbors. You don't have to invite them, but you just kind of at least inform them there are going to be cars or, whatever.
No, point taken, that, we just didn't feel we had the relationship. Well, at least we'll leave a flyer next time.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
Is there any chance you're over by a house up on the next cul-de-sac in Spanish Bit? Okay.
Did the employee with the gray Challenger, the hot rod guy, did he get terminated?
He's no longer with us.
Thank God. with his Freddy Krueger mask,
He's no longer with us.
I have one question. We have people, we have a dedicated team who do a lot of cleanup in this town. And we have been reported, and this might have been before your time, but over your fence is a landing spot for all these huff cans. Huff cans. I buy them and they're for huffing. I don't know anything about it, but apparently a lot of your people who stay there use them and then throw them over the fence.
Are they still there?
I don't know.
But
I'll take a look at
they're,
this.
and you can tell them they're puppy, that's because they don't even smart enough to take the red straw off the can.
Okay.
And
Thank you for letting me know, because I didn't know that. But I'll go do a
That's
perimeter
why I'm
check.
telling you, your back fence opens, you're not, I don't think you're paying attention to that.
Well, we have a lot.
And people can go, they park, they do, and they have, park on Crown and they walk through.
I have it locked now.
Tammy's our, she's the gal, so she's the one who went out several times, so she's not here tonight, so I don't know when the last time she cleaned up that area, but her group, like, so.
See, we all
Thank you
got
for telling us. Yeah. And again, since I've been there, I've added probably 25 cameras. So now we have a full, I don't know if they had that before me, but if people were, if our client, past clients were using something or throwing anything over there,
And you need to,
we're not
you
available.
need to turn the tree code. There's no way those cameras can.
I'm happy, I think we have 3 pepper trees there, actually.
No, you'll see the tree that I'm talking about, the bugs. If you're coming up Crown, you can't miss it, because it goes all the way over. Because we all share a common fence. When the insurance companies, you're gonna start getting Edison with the drones going over the house in October. And they're gonna pick up on that, and we all end up getting leased for it on our insurance, because it's a common fence. And
So-
a fire hazard.
If I'm looking at the backyard, your house is on the left. Which tree would it, which group, because there's a group of pepper trees
Yeah,
there.
it's back to the field behind you. You just have one that's totally overgrown, you can't miss it. I'll find out for you.
I mean, there's one big tree kind of in the middle. Is that the one you mean?
No. Just keep going, I'll find it somewhere.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the dialogue, keep the dialogue.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna come every month, and if there's any questions, we also have an open line of communication. All right.
Amanda, are you there?
Amanda, yay, Amanda.
I am here, yes.
Welcome.
Our agenda actually went a lot faster, so you were three items ago, but grateful you're here now, so.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're
Yes.
good.
So yeah, should I go? Am I ready?
Yes, you're on.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you all for having me. My name is Amanda Begley, and I work at Tree People. And I also serve as the watershed coordinator for the Santa Clara River watershed. So that is part of the Safe Clean Water Program, also known as Measure W. So a little reminder, back in 2018, LA County voters passed Measure W, and that created the Safe Clean Water Program. They divided LA up into 9 sub-watersheds, and you all are in the Santa Clara River watershed, which is probably no surprise to you. And Tree People serves as the watershed coordinator, so that is my role. And today we wanted to share a couple of things with you. Is it appropriate for me to share screen or drop the links in the chat, or what do you think is the best way?
Share screen, you're good.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's see here. I think that works. Here we go. Okay. Do I submit? Okay, there it is. Okay, so there's 2 things I wanted to share with you all. Number 1 is there is this community strengths and needs assessment that is up right now, and there's no due date on this. This is going to be around for a long time. There's no sunset date on the Safe Clean Water wastewater program, so it'll be around for, I think it has to be around for at least 3 decades. So it's not one of these things that's going away tomorrow. But there is a QR code on here, and I can also drop the link in the chat as well of this survey. And the reason why I'm sharing this survey is because this is a way for us to hear what is important to the folks in Acton. So this is the one thing I wanted to share with you all is either the QR code or I put the link in the chat. Maybe we can share it on the Acton, wherever is appropriate, email list, website. But I really encourage folks to fill out. As Jackie noticed, we haven't had too many residents from Acton fill this out. And I really want to make sure that we hear from all of you so that we can address your needs. I also should have said, what is this program? So there's 3 main goals. It is to improve water quality, improve water supply, and bring community investment benefits. So this is basically through developing multi-benefit stormwater projects. But let me get to another little bit about what I do as watershed coordinator in a second. The other thing I wanted to share with you all, besides the survey, and again, fill it out as soon as you can would be great, but again, it's not like it's going away tomorrow. This is going to be a live survey, and there's a public-facing dashboard, so you can see the way residents in the Santa Clara River watershed are responding, the way residents all around LA County are responding, and you can also see if maybe you're not getting too many respondents in your community, and it can be a way to encourage your neighbors or folks if they have their voice they want to share to add to this. So that's the first thing. The other piece that I wanted to share with you all today is this, if they share this instead, is that there are these watershed plans that have been developed for each, whoops, I don't think I shared it, did it? I don't see it there.
Not yet.
Let me do that again, share screen.
Uh-oh, Jeremiah just looked at you. Oh, there we go.
There it goes. So part of this program, we're now getting into our 7th year. The program is trying to be more proactive and looking at a long-term lens of what we should do with these dollars. It's $280 million every year that's going into the Safe Clean Water Program. The Santa Clara River gets $6 million every year to spend on various projects. So the plan is supposed to be what should we do and also kind of how are we doing. So I'm sharing this today so that you can know that it's this, and will admittedly, it is a very long document. It is, let's see where I get this down. So, but I would encourage you to go to the safecleanwaterla.org website, safecleanwaterla, all one word.org. I can drop that link in the chat too. And go on the top banner of the webpage, there's a link to these watershed plans. Again, the Santa Clara River would be the one that you all would be most interested in, I would imagine. The executive summary is kind of a good place to start. And you can see there's many different appendices. And there's also this watershed planning tool here that is also in its beta form, but it'll be a way to kind of see how all that information is working together. It's kind of a lot, but I encourage you to check it out and see what you think. There is also a public comment period that is open right now, and you can see that it's coming to a close very soon. But I want to encourage you that just because it's ending on September 28th, that doesn't mean we're not taking any more information. That's just kind of their official public comment period, but Public Works has let me know to encourage folks to continue sending things you see in the plan that you have questions about, or anything, any sort of public comment you have related to these plans. So there is a form on this page. I can also drop that into the link, and it's kind of just a real simple form to take people's input on these. Another thing that's happening is our next watershed area steering committee for the Santa Clara River is on October 16th. That is outside of this plan, but it is also a forum to get feedback from that committee. So there is public comment periods throughout that meeting. That's on October 16th at 1 p.m. at Santa Clarita City Hall. There is also a virtual option. There is also the ability to give a public comment ahead of time if you cannot attend the meeting online or in person. So if anything comes up that you see in these plans that you want to address, I encourage you to do that at that meeting as well if you don't have time in this public comment period. And then again, if you don't have time in the public comment period, of course, that's first choice. You can go to the WASP meeting or submit a public comment ahead of time, or use this email address beyond the period if there are things, concerns, questions you want to raise. The other thing I want to add, to go back to the strengths and needs assessment, is in my role as watershed coordinator, I'm also supposed to be looking for other funding opportunities to meet the need of the residents of our watershed that have to do with water supply and water quality. Some of you may have seen the Rural Water Supply Reliability Program, and the reason why that program even came to be is that we had information through a similar survey, another community strengths and needs assessment, and we heard that residents' wells were going dry. Now that may not be a good fit for the Safe Clean Water program, but when another opportunity came up to provide resources for that need, we were able to apply for that funding, and we've been delivering reimbursement checks to the folks in Acton and Agua Dulce who had successful applications, and also doing some well assessments. So just to say that the information that goes into this survey, even if it's not a square fit for the program, Tree People is committed to continue to try to find resources to meet those needs. So I'll pause there. That was a lot, and we'll drop some of those.
I just wanted to chime in and say that, yeah, I appreciate that, you know, I know you guys took a lot of the feedback that we gave about the folks that weren't in the water district and kind of.
If you are aware that there are 2, maybe 3 battery energy storage projects that are planned for right at the head of the Santa Clara, and I wondered if you had an opinion on that, and because we're concerned about contamination of the aquifers. If there was a fire event, the firefighters would basically let this fire burn, and it's going to be producing toxic off-gassing and particulate. And if they put hoses on adjacent exposures, you could carry that to the ground and eventually to the groundwater. I wondered if you had an opinion on that, and if you would be willing to write a letter from Tree People supporting our community in not wanting these projects to be sited there. It's a sensitive area, it's next to the SDA as well. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, and it is something we have been following closely as, you know, it's an issue of great concern for the community and all the reasons that you brought up. I would highly encourage you all to write that kind of information on the community strengths and needs assessment that I just shared, because that is going to be the way that issues of concern are elevated to the county from your community. And it will be public facing, right? This dashboard. So I highly recommend that. As far as writing a letter on behalf of the Tree People, I cannot make that decision, but if you all want to make that formal request of Tree People, I can share it with our board and the folks that sign off on such things.
I can give you Amanda's contact information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple of things, and everybody, Amanda, you know I love you to death. I'm the number one fan, and everybody knows that. I have read the draft watershed plan, or a lot of it. It's small. It's many hundreds of pages, so maybe I haven't read every word. And this is a plan that was put together by Public Works, so it's not a WASP thing, it is not a Tree People thing, it is not, you know, it's just, and I'm very bothered by it because in one part of it, it says that Public Works did a lot of outreach before it wrote this plan. Never talked to anybody in Acton. Their website shows the surveys that were done. They say one survey was in Acton and one survey result came from Agua Dulce, but when you actually look at them, the one that said it was in Acton, it was from an address in Santa Clarita, and the Palmdale, the one that was in, Agua Dulce, was an address in Canyon Country. And so there was no input, and I shared this with an email with you, but
you know, we as a town council are going to vote tonight on whether to write comments, because this is our last meeting before the deadline. And I just wanted to share with you some concerns I have, that it's time for the county, and this is not, like I said, tree people thing, but it's a WASC thing, and the county and the city senate for you to come to grips with my concerns. So I've enumerated them here. This plan that we're going to comment on has like nine project names: water quality, drought preparedness, improve public health, deliver multi-benefits, leverage funding, equitably distribute benefits, promote green jobs, ensure ongoing operation, and prioritize meaningful engagement. Well, this is a public works plan. Again, it's not a WASC plan. There was no meaningful engagement. And when you look and see what they mean by each of these things, you will see that the community of Acton can only achieve maybe two, all right? Drought preparedness and multi-benefits. Because we've been told by the WASC in a very detailed study that we greatly appreciate done by Stantec that we don't have a water quality problem here. And there will never be any projects in Acton unless we hit arguably most of these things, if not all of them. And because we don't have water quality problems, we are never going to get funding for anything under WASC and under the Safe Clean Water Act. And we all pay a lot of money on our property taxes every year on Measure W. And you know, I guess it's become a broken record for me. I didn't know the last meeting was canceled. I'm not being here on Thursday, so thank you for telling me. I would have driven down there and not even known. But, you know, our community was left out of this draft plan. Everything in this draft plan fits every place but Acton and Onwilsey. I'm not speaking for Onwilsey, but they're in the same boat as us. The only other option we have, or the theme that we need, is, I believe, equitable distribution of benefits. And the document actually says is that the theme is to ensure that the positive impacts of stormwater management projects reach all communities. But we've already been told by the WASC that there will never be a project here because stormwater is not something we're going to deal with in rural communities, and I won't get into why. But the equitable distribution of benefits theme looks at equity only through a DAC lens, the disadvantaged community lens. It does not count rural as being a DAC. And so we can't even meet that, even though arguably rural communities are the most marginalized and the most ignored communities in this county. And I am really upset about this. So I think it's time that the WASC come to grips with our community paying for projects that will never happen in our community. And I don't know how to do that, but I need your help to make that happen. And I have recommended over and over that if Public Works would take some WASC money and come up with a template where it says if you do these things and you have a property of 2 acres, you do this, 5 acres, you do that. If this is how much impervious surface you have, you just need to dig a hole that's like 6 feet wide, 2 feet deep, and then we can do those things, should provide documentation, and our payments under Measure W are dropped by 95%. We can't be at 100% out of it, as I understand it. But that, every time I brought that up, Public Works has said, no, because every one of those applications has to be engineered, so you've got to hire an engineer to get it done, which is ridiculous. It's absurd. So either that or we need to rewrite these themes so that rural communities can benefit from them. And my comments here are targeted exclusively at this plan, you know, the watershed, what is it, Santa Clara River watershed plan, and WASC activities, not the work that Tree People's doing independently for wells, and which I'm very grateful for, very grateful. So it's time we had a conversation. Like, what's going on? When are we going to be at the table?
Yeah, very good points, all of those, Jackie, and I hear you. And I will say one thing, an avenue we haven't fully explored, and I would like to see how I can be supportive of this, is there is a municipal funds that get set aside, and because you all are part of unincorporated LA County, you have part of the supervisorial District 5 pot of funding, and there's much less, it's not like the scoring threshold for normal infrastructure projects that you're kind of pointing to, those various elements, those boxes you have to check. So it would be very interesting to maybe work with Barter's office or, just to listen to what you are saying and see if there's a way that some of those municipal funds could be directed for projects to benefit Acton and Agua Dulce, because there is that pot sitting there that we haven't, I don't think, fully explored that possibility. And then I'll also share, I think it would be really great, whatever there's the time for, to share this, if not in the public comment, because I know that's fastly approaching, if there could be a public comment submitted to the October 16th WASP, because I think this is something that would be important for the program to hear, the WASP to hear, and the county representatives of Safe Clean Water Program to hear. And then I'll also just say again that it's the draft form, and that the plan is not going to be static. It's going to constantly be taking in new information. One of those major inputs will be this community needs assessment. So the more that we can get folks to add to this data set, if you will, of the survey report, I think would be really great to build the case of, hey, it's all the things you're saying. Folks are paying into this for these needs. And again, using my time as watershed coordinator, trying to find other opportunities that can help meet those needs. So I think that there's a couple of avenues here, but I want to try to figure out how to work with you all more to address these very, very important concerns that you've been raising here.
Well, you work very hard to work with us, and we appreciate that. But, if you and I ran the world, things would be different. I'm trying to get, it isn't just that we want the message across. We want it to make a difference. We want,
right.
And so, because I've said this now, how long have you guys been a coordinator? 3 years, 2 years, 2 or 3 years? 4+ years now. Yeah, I was saying it before you guys even came on, so.
Yes, right.
I get it's a broken record with the folks that have to hear it, but it has to matter at some point. So
yeah.
And this plan, frankly, was just that I felt, it did identify and you articulated these things of our concerns in our community in 3 or 4 places, but it was just like they said this, but this is what we're going to do, and it's completely unrelated. And so I found this whole thing to be a huge insult, because it's like we can't meet any of the hoops, or most of the hoops that we need to meet to participate in this plan. And so, anyway, so I really appreciate that. So I think we all need to, I think we should write comments on this.
Yeah, I would love to, just see more of the survey. And if you have any of you have any ideas of particular community events or listservs or whatever to get the word out there, I would appreciate that too, because it's important that we get your voice captured in this process, right? And the more that people are saying the same thing, the more power it has. So whatever we can do to facilitate that would be excellent, and I will.
I can't remember if I have a copy of this, but anything I get, I always ask Jeremiah to put on the website. So
okay, excellent.
So that flyer.
Perfect.
So I haven't written out the motion yet, but I typed it out. I move that we write a comment letter in response to the Santa Clara River watershed plan.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, all right, and we'll submit it in, and I guess we'll copy you on it, and
yeah.
I don't know, but because Santa Clarita runs this show.
Yes.
And that's all I have to say. It's just ridiculous.
And that's why I'm bringing up this issue of the municipal funds, because I don't feel like we've fully explored how that can address the issues of the rural communities, and I want to explore that more. So perhaps we can set a meeting up, maybe even your contacts at SD5. I know Chuck sometimes comes to these meetings, or at least, or someone from that shop. It would be great to kind of have that conversation and see what we can do, because that is there. And there aren't the restrictions around those themes that you brought up with those funds, so.
That would be great, because I know flood control doesn't, we have some flood control facilities, very few, so they don't have to do much here.
Right,
So,
right.
That's great.
But you know, your concerns are valid, are correct, right? You are all paying into this program and it's supposed to serve everyone. So, and there's all these various pieces of the pie. So if you don't get access to this, you should, like, what are the on-ramps? And we need to understand that.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Amanda. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for making time for me this evening.
Oh, thank you for taking time. Have a good evening. Thanks.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Want us to do
Is she here? I asked her to bring one full-size plan and 6 sets of other plans. Okay. What a weird meeting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's off schedule, so.
That may, this
Moving
particular
along.
individual.
Yeah, just working backwards.
They need their stuff looked at before their violations. Okay. All right, and then, next up, illegal use of Sierra Highway.
Okay.
This is east of my,
It's in the old Crown Valley hardware spot, east of the Miso Sushi Crown Valley Farms. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I want to set the table here. Give me a minute or two. So the old Crown Valley hardware store, which some of you probably remember, and there was a piece of that, an outdoor antique sale uses. They have been replaced with an unpermitted and illegal outdoor storage uses, heavy equipment rental, RV sales and services, like a service garage, and heavy equipment rental, and so on and so forth. None of these uses have been approved, and some of them are not even permitted in the rural commercial zone. So they can't be approved. The site was originally established with an approved conditional use permit, subdivision, general plan amendment, and a DP zone change that expressly limited the uses on the property per the zone change to hardware store that was never actually built. All they did was put in as you remember, a storage container, and then there was like some 6x6 wooden posts for shade. I used to shop there, I remember. Anyway, so the only thing that could be done was a hardware store, which was never built, and an outdoor antiques dealer, which was kind of used. The time frame in which the CUP was valid ran with the parcel map, but the parcel map was never finalized. So the CUP actually expired about 30 years ago. So even while it was always operated as a, it never, that's probably why they never built the building.
yeah.
Because they couldn't legally, right? So technically, no use on any of the 4 parcels has ever been authorized for decades. Both active residents and the town council have brought up concerns with the illegal uses on the site to regional planning, and a few meetings ago, we passed a motion to engage Director Bodek to address by planning accepted applications for development when the zoning code prohibited them from doing so because of violations. A remote meeting was scheduled. We were all there, but regional planning did not show up. So we followed up with an email articulating the concerns, and in response, we were told that the county is processing a clean hands waiver so that they can process the applications. Under the code, it says black and white, the county is not allowed to even accept an application for any development on any property that has illegal use and unpermitted use or is in violation of zoning code. Straight up, you can't even accept it, let alone approve it. So we have asked, why are you accepting applications for all of these uses, that some of which are not even allowed by the code, and you're not even allowed to? And that was the meeting that we're supposed to discuss, and they didn't show up. So we followed up with an email articulating concerns, and in response we were told that the county was processing a clean hands waiver. They pointed out that site uses are limited to what was approved in the DP zone. So even if you wanted to approve an outdoor storage, the heavy equipment rental, the RV sales and service, you can't, because in 1991, what was processed for the zone change was a guaranteed commitment to build X. Now, it's very interesting because the whole kit and caboodle actually covered like 6 parcels, including where the miso sushi is now, which is all fine. That was built exactly the way it was supposed to have been built, and that was in like 2007. And a lot of you old timers probably remember it was like rusty studs for like 15 years, right? But then they finally built it in 2007, and that was fine. But the rest of it, they've never done anything. So, so I have asked, so when the zone change was happened in 1991, the developer committed to building the miso sushi building, which is there, and then the hardware, and then the antique store. They only built the first part, which was not subject to DP. It was already commercially zoned. The other parcels changed from ag. So there's a lot of things covered in multiple parcels. But the DP was just where the illegal uses are now. But under the zoning code, you can get 2 kinds of zone change. You can get a zone change that's unrestricted, but then you have to do an environmental review that will assume anything could be there, including major gas station, lots of traffic, blah, blah, blah. Or you can get a restricted zone change where you promise, I will build X, and in exchange, please change the zone for me. And the community will usually support it, because it's usually something that we wanted, because we wanted a hardware store in the 90s, right? Now, we have ACE and we love ACE, so not taking anything away from ACE. But now what the county's doing is when somebody has a DP zone change and they get the property changed, then they have to apply for a CUP to develop it, and then they come in and say, well, we want to do something differently for this project. We want to put in, say, oh, I don't know, a drive-through restaurant, right? Instead of a feed store that we promised. Well, under the code, they're not allowed to do that. They're only allowed to build what they promised to build when they got their zone change. So this issue, the DP issue here on this property is related to other problems with DP properties that we're facing in other parts of the community. So anyway, also the property owner, and I haven't told the county this, the property owner recorded a covenant, a restricted covenant that runs with the land that said they would only build the miso sushi thing, the hardware store, and the antiques. So that was a requirement by the county. That proves that the DP zone says you're supposed to do X and only do X. So now the county we brought all that stuff up. I did in an email to the county, regional planning, not mentioning the covenant. And we got a response back from regional planning saying, it just came back, I think on Friday, saying that we're having a meeting about this whole development project coming up this week. So they are having, not with us, but they're having a meeting. So maybe something we're saying is finally landing. I don't know.
It's going to be a high-rise trade center.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the place with all those little buildings, those little cup sheds?
Yes.
Well,
That whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a shed storage place, it's an RV
It's
sale.
basically from the edge of that parking lot.
It's whatever they want to put on there.
They've listed everything you could think of you could possibly.
Firewood sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they buy the property or are they leasing the property?
I don't know. My understanding is, so there's, okay, besides the miso sushi property, right, next to it there are actually 4 parcels. There's one parcel that is being used by ISCO. The other parcel that's being used for the shed, blah, 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 blah thing. And then the other parcel that actually has a little driveway and goes down to the lower part, that's another parcel. That appears to be the heavy equipment rental. And it has a separate opening.
And they put up the big shelter.
Yeah, they put up open, and then next to that is another parcel that's not been approved for anything. It was never part of the original CUP, but the outdoor equipment, the heavy equipment rental place has moved into a large part of their property.
And they don't own it.
And they do not own it, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Which is, well, okay, as far as we can tell, they don't own it.
No, I was told it was different owner.
Yeah, well, it might be, I mean, when you look at the records, not everybody records all their deeds, I don't know why they don't, but, you know, as far as we can tell, it's not the same one, right, the different owners. So, anyway, this really is an important issue because we're facing this with the other drive-through fast food. On the
This is like,
zone.
well, this is, at its face, it's like the structure, it's like people break down a society. Like, what's the,
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
not
do whatever you want.
anymore.
Yeah, just do whatever you want, wherever you want.
He's the only one who has
I know,
to
yeah.
And
You
it's-
Across the street from them, I'm
And
watching
you're not
them.
paying money.
I'm watching them do all this stuff, it's like, we're getting banged, and we don't have to
Well,
going on, they're doing all this stuff.
He has to do is even the code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, at least you're consistent.
Because we want horses, they don't want agriculture, they don't want agriculture out here, they want to build condos and houses.
Drive-through, they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I've got a horse drive.
Horse only. That's right.
So I have, so that's what's going on with that. And there's, you guys have probably seen all the emails
Yeah.
over the last 3 weeks. There've been a lot of them, and it's just mind-boggling and head scratching. So I have a motion to write a detailed letter to regional planning disclosing all this, including the stuff about development.
Yeah.
Okay, because we really need, this DP thing is important. You know, Santiago Square is a lot of
Well,
problems.
that's what I mean, it's like this one, like, thread you pull on, and everything comes to unravel, especially if you're just gonna say, be damned to whatever you.
We're just gonna accept it because we're gonna.
No, whatever you write in, they'll just accept it. That's what I mean, that's what it feels
Oh,
like.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you just write whatever you want, and they're just like, whatever, it's
Selection
fine.
response style.
Why was Isco allowed to move in down there?
That's the next one, that's the
They're
problem, they're
not.
not.
And that's what I always thought, like, how can they?
They're not supposed to, yeah, it's not a.
It's not even, you can only do that on industrially zoned property.
Yes.
Of which that is not.
No, it's not only commercial, it's commercial DP.
There's an open violation on that property because of the illegal outdoor storage of that.
What's going on?
And because of that, they shouldn't have even accepted the application.
Exactly.
One of the emails back was like, how are we supposed to fix it if they can't apply for a new one?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you make them take all
All
of
the
this
stuff off. And then you say, now you can
Now
apply.
it's a regional
Well, then
person.
you come out and confirm that it's gone, and then you move forward.
Yeah, because
What a novel idea.
I mean, they are busting the chops of people who own homes.
Yes, like, hey, your husband is, yeah, your husband is
Most
out.
of it's illegal.
Yeah.
And on the end of the property, you can't do it.
And people who are, I'm sorry, I'm just,
So
so,
let's go with another, just a little tangent, but the same thing is like things like when they were talking about, like the sustainability words and things where they're saying like, oh, well, there's no discretionary permits. Like, so how much is on a roof on? Well, that's not what we meant by it.
Well, that's what it
that's what it says. Okay, so we're
okay,
gonna.
I move that we write a detailed letter to regional planning articulating our concerns with the proposed development, the fact that they are not consistent with the DP zoning, the answer, and that they should not have accepted the application in the first place.
You second?
I say.
All right. Ron seconded.
Any comments from people?
Yeah, how do you all feel about it?
Why would they be having a meeting this week?
Chrissy, does Jack know about the party house at one day?
It's an internal.
Jackie,
It's an internal.
Party house and when they
The
were there.
meeting we were supposed to have with them, they bailed, and then they told us they're having a meeting to discuss.
Yeah.
We have no frame of reference for what that means. Whether that means it's gonna be worse, or whether they're gonna go, hey, they got something.
They pay attention more.
They're open to lots of here.
Or is the town council complaining that they're not?
I don't know if the residents have complained directly, did you know if they?
There have been residents.
I know we've heard from.
This bowling ball, whatever, this snowball was started by a resident who contacted regional planners
Yes.
directly and copied us. And so then we picked up hopefully bigger snowballs.
They usually send a whole SWAT team out.
No, that's only if you're a resident. and you-
No, they only do that to residents.
Yeah.
That's reserved as a privilege.
Commercial.
There's too much tax dollars in business that's already there.
It is ridiculous.
It's insane. Okay, so, we have a second, yeah, any other discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, everybody's other favorite topic, Bess.
Okay, wait, before, I gotta jump in, sorry. Okay, I'm Bess. To send a letter to regional planning with comments on the renewable energy ordinance plus BES ordinance, right? They combine them into one ordinance. That letter is almost finished, but what I'm grappling with is commenting on the motion for the two motions from the Board of Supervisors on 6 months apart or maybe longer said these ordinances have to address concern with overconcentration. No one community should be overburdened with BES or renewable energy developments. And so they don't know, and we've asked regional planning in the meeting that we had, it was a public meeting a month or two ago, they haven't defined overconcentration. So, you know, we have always taken the position that we should tell them what we think it should be defined. They haven't figured it out yet, so that we, you know. So I've been grappling with that. I sent out an email saying, you guys tell me what you think of overconcentration. I heard back from Don and Jeremiah. I'm going to try to synthesize what you two said. All right. I posit that for dangerous systems like lithium BES, they should not be located in any community and should only be remotely placed to address Don's concerns. But to address Jeremiah's, for all other systems, an overconcentration is created and the system is installed that provides more capacity than what is needed for the community in which it is located. Yep. So a non-lethal BES, okay, say iron flow battery or compressed air or sliding door, whatever, with a capacity of 3 megawatts is more than sufficient to serve 2,500 homes, which is about Acton's population of 7,500 people. Any more than that, for any type of use, electrical generation, electrical storage, etc., would constitute an overconcentration. Yes. That's a good one. Is that what you guys think? Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because we had also said at a meeting that they should also be, I believe, and I think other people in the association, Retail Councils chimed in, that all the districts should have it, just like they're doing with pot, right? Cannabis.
Yeah,
Sorry.
certainly.
Cannabis. I'm sorry. I use words like pot. I'm from the 70s, but anyway. Every district should have the same amount, like 10 of this and 10 of that.
Yeah.
So I also think that there should be another layer, and that if one district has a lot, that there shouldn't be any more approved in that district until
But
more happen in the other
I
district.
would be really careful with that, because what if they're like, we're just gonna put the world's largest one, you have one.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we limit it by energy.
Correct, okay,
Right.
good. I just want to make sure, because it's like, they're like, hey,
To me,
you only have one, and you're like, yeah, but it's like half the town.
to me, that definition of over concentration goes to everything.
No, that's why, yeah.
Oh, our parks,
Everything.
outdoor storage.
Yes.
That's why,
Just limited to
no,
that.
that's why I think it was key, is by
That
saying
is
it's,
our definition.
yeah, and again, I can't remember if it's the 80-20 general plan, okay, you'll correct me on that, but that it needs to be community serving. So if it exceeds what's considered community, it is excess and it is not, it is over concentration, because you don't need, we don't need a storage facility, let alone 100 of them.
Legal and illegal.
Yeah, whatever you want to classify, we don't need any. I mean, I explained to somebody the
So
other day.
based on the community serving profile.
Yes.
Or requirement from that's from the AV plan.
Yeah, which I think is a good thing to rest it on because it exists. It's
I
something.
agree.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, I got into somebody the other day and said, it's tangential but the same idea, which is the sense that we don't need, in the same sense as the battery storage, we didn't need storage facilities. Everybody out here has room to store things. So it's not active people storing things. So everybody's got 2.5 acres, you want to put your RV in your yard. Well, that's what I'm saying, is that would pump people. And so we inherit all their mess. And the same thing with the energy stuff is, why do we get to be everybody's storage yard for energy stuff, whatever? That's not.
Well, all the landfills
Yeah.
in LA County, with the exception of Calabasas, are in District 5.
Yeah.
That's garbage, literally.
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 Well, with the danger of this, they're asking us to make a sacrifice. Sacrifice is a burden handled by everyone, not just a few.
And we don't need to partake. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
we don't
not-
get to see any benefit from it. I'm taking the risk of losing something I took my entire life to build. So LA can have electricity at night.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to.
They're letting the developers steer the development instead of the county as the authority having jurisdiction, instead of them steering the development. So the developers go, oh, meeny, miny, moe, I see a substation, bam, I want that plot of land right there. And that's when they start going after it. And then they go to the county and the county's like, okay, well, let's see, we'll approve you. I mean, that's not the way it should go. The county should be in charge of what's happening and where it's happening. And he's best for picking these locations just based on the convenience for their interconnection.
Well, I think that's why it's really important also to hear what, it's in 2 days. Planning is giving a presentation to the planning commission on the REO, which we know is going to include the best. So we'll listen to that as well. But you're absolutely right, it's because we know Horvath's motion even called out CISA as being somebody they should talk to. CISA is the consortium of energy developers. Didn't talk to rural communities, just talk to
Talk to the coyotes about protecting the hen house.
Yes.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Okay, so that's okay with you guys. So I also had put in there, and I'll layer it on top of, there should never be any vests, lithium vests, dangerous vests, within, I think it's 3,200 feet of a residence or sensitive use, which is consistent with current energy siting regulations that CPC and California Energy Commission implements for, say, gas turbine, fossil fuel facilities. So,
Well, when they measure that, because what we found out in Santa Clarita is there were.
Oh, they're measuring like the middle.
Within the middle of the property, to the
Oh.
property, we need to have them
No,
go to
it's
the property line.
property line, I'll write that in there too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ruthie, I just need to get that, that'll be able to get over it.
Okay,
You
my
didn't
turn?
forget what you were gonna say, did you?
No, she hasn't. No, I had it all written. I'm ready. Okay.
You're on.
Okay, so the humidor trial happened on July 17th. It was a very abbreviated hearing because the judge had a lot on his docket that day. And so I think he didn't want to rush his ruling because it's kind of a benchmark case. A lot of people are looking at this ruling. So he gave himself 90 days to rule. So his 90 days are up October 15th. So it's that far away.
October 15th.
Yeah, October 15th. I counted the days, I believe October 15th was day 90. So we're waiting on that, so any day now, I'm excited. We left that hearing feeling very good about things that the judge said. We felt that he was agreeing. He kept asking the county to explain their positions and, their actions, and then he would say, but the zoning code says, and then he would refer exactly back to what our lawsuit was stating. Sort of had laid out that, the interpretation memo was incorrectly applied and why it was incorrectly applied. And he kind of kept agreeing with us and didn't ask us a whole lot of questions. Didn't ask our attorney a lot of questions. It seemed like the county and the developer were kind of on the defensive with the judge. He was like asking them to defend what they had done and what their points were. And he kept, but the zoning code says, so we're hoping and we're very encouraged by what took place at the hearing. And we are confident we're going to win. Anyway, moving on. The Prairie Song Reliability Project, it used to be called the Avantis Angelino. It was sold and now it's called Prairie Song. It filed an application with the CEC under their approval process. So the county doesn't really have control over approving this particular project. The CEC process and environmental review, and it's a very long, complicated application, and 30 days after the application was filed, the CEC responded with a determination letter that stated whether the application was deemed complete or not. And they said it was not deemed complete. And this is what's missing. Let's just say the missing list was 3 times the size of the complete list. So that was good. Sort. Save our little town. Immediately jumped in and filed a masterful 70-page letter. My only sort can do. And the 70-page letter was attacking the application and all the deficiencies. She could see all the lies and all the inaccuracies. Anyway, it was a great letter. It's actually in the CEC. If you go to energy.ca.gov, that's the CEC website, and you just go up to the search bar and type in Prairie Song, and the search will pull it up. You just hit on Prairie Song, and it'll take you right to their project page. And you scroll down, you can go down to like a little yellow square, and it'll say docket log. And you click on that, and it opens up the whole docket. So everything that's being submitted for that project is documented. It's all publicly available, including the 70-page letter. I also submitted all of our best opposition protest signature pages when we did our petition of protest, because it included the Angelino. It wasn't just about Humador, it was about Angelino and any future best. So it was good that we covered the whole base. So those all got submitted. And then after all these submissions went in with all of our signatures and protests, suddenly there was a few quick letters that came in from the unions that were trying to go best, you know. I mean, they want to support the project. But anyway, the docket is an interesting open document. You can go in there and check it all out. I've been asking for residents to write comments to that docket, and people have started to do that. We probably have about, I'm going to say about 25 residents that have submitted comments to that docket. I've posted that on Nextdoor and on several Facebook groups, so the link is there. All you have to do is click on the link and you fill in your name, your email address, and you make your comment and hit submit, and away it goes. So anyway, it's a great way to get your 2 cents in before we have public comment. Now with the Prairie Song, part of the process is once they deem that application complete, within 30 days, they will set a meeting for public comment. So they will come here to Acton. It could be here, it could be at the community center, it could be at the high school, whatever, wherever they decide to have this meeting. And it will be open to Acton residents, those residents to come and actually speak face to face with the CEC. They'll have reps here from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. They'll break for a short lunch, but I mean, for the most part, they'll be available all day. You have a minute to make a comment. You can write something and read it. You can call in on the phone. It's a perfectly run process for us to be able to get all our comments out, and the CEC has to look at us all as we make comments. 1 minute. I believe 1 minute each. Yeah, 1 minute. So if you write it down,
like the moderator out in college?
yeah, no.
That was terrible. That was awful.
That was terrible.
Can you do more repeat? I mean, if there's not enough people there to cover time, was it 12 hours?
You probably could. You probably could, like, come back and do another minute. I don't think they're going to keep it from doing it. They're there, sitting there, you know, whether there's a million people or 2 people.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how they run. If they really want to hear from the public and there's 4 people waiting and they're there for 6 hours, they'll let you talk.
Yeah.
I mean, they won't let you monologue, but.
I participated in the meeting that they had for the Compass project, which is in San Juan Capistrano, and I called in and read a comment over the phone, and I also wrote a comment and sent it in, a written comment, different comment, sent it into the docket. So and people were like, what? All of a sudden, it all clicked for a lot of people. They couldn't visualize these projects, and when they saw it on this map, they realized the enormity of it. They saw the substation on the map, and they went, and they figured it was the substation.
Has that been sent to the judge? So has that been sent to the judge so he knows as far as the transportation that goes up and down the 14? So you have 17,000 commercial vehicles that go up to 14. And if you're
5,000 vehicles a day. If you have an incident, it will settle.
Oh, 100.
Out
I'm
valid.
talking commercial vehicles, so yeah, but all that's just going to the
We
board.
portrayed everything we could to the judge in that docket, that
Put a crater.
administrative records closed, so we can't enter anything in, but we just really wanted to give it to her. But yeah, that was a big thing, that whole corridor is just, you know, we totally closed down at the end of the fire. And,
The Acton Town Council did write a letter in that docket also, reiterating, because the developer said the project is in Antelope Valley and in Palmdale. It's like, no, it's in Acton.
It's an act,
So,
sorry.
yeah, and so, and the town council's letter addressed that, and of course, the toxicity and all the danger of the wildfire, but also the community benefits plan. Any benefits plan that's written for this, because it is required by law under AB 205, has to benefit just Acton, not the county and not the Antelope Valley. And we asked them specifically to attend, to put together a community meeting where all organizations, community-based organizations, could attend, so we could all talk about this, because they are required by law to provide some community benefits to the community in which they're located, which is not Palmdale or Antelope Valley.
They're trying to play, just like they're playing homeowner against homeowner. Like, you're not allowed to talk about what we negotiate with you as a homeowner with your neighbors. And they're playing one against the other. This is what they're trying to do with local community groups. Like, they'll say, well, we're reaching out to you, we'd like to sit down with you and have a
One-on-one meeting.
One-on-one meeting, all this backdoor stuff.
And then it's causing divisiveness, and so far it hasn't. The organizations are pretty
Well,
much.
everybody,
We
I'm
can all
happy
come
to
together.
I'm happy to say that everybody in the community that I reached out to and said, you know, and tried to send the Paul Leader warning, they all got back to me and they've all been like, no, we're not gonna deal with this. And a couple people got letters and they reached out to me. Tell me they got letters from the developer and, you know, how would you like to handle this? We don't want to take a meeting with these people. And I said, well, then just tell them you're not interested in supporting the project. You know, and I said, if we have a sit down with all the groups and that was fair what they do it, what they produce, but to sit down one-on-one is very unfair. And anyway, it's kind of.
Well, you should probably reach out to the Firewise organization now that we know that that exists.
They
So,
probably will.
yeah, if you guys could connect.
Oh, yeah.
Ruth, you mentioned earlier about the backfill, the fire department supported the residents, which is an important ally. Any indication where our local fire, because the two meetings I've been to, the one in LA and the one here at the high school, the fire department has bought hook, line, and sinker everything the builders have said.
Well, funny you should mention that.
Me being your straight man.
Today, I received a video that was prepared as a presentation by retired Battalion Chief Ronald Cabrera of LA County Fire, who now happens to be a resident in San Juan Capistrano.
Really?
Yes.
So he's
And
a-
guess what they have in San Juan Capistrano? A best project that they are opposing. It's called the Compass. So Chief Ronald Cabrera prepared a PowerPoint presentation. And because he no longer gets a paycheck from LA County Fire, he's on the stairs checkbook now. He doesn't have any muzzles on him. He spoke the truth. He said everything I've been saying, SORT's been saying about LFP, about the best, about the lack of plume, the toxicity,
Yep.
the plume that went up to 6 miles at night.
Yeah,
Low
the town
wind.
council just said 2 miles. He
Yeah.
said 6. I'm like, I'm good with
With
that.
with a low wind of 4 miles an hour, it traveled 6 miles. And so the whole plume study was done. It was a great 8-minute presentation. I have sent that presentation to LA County's team that's doing the renewable energy ordinance. I also copied Chief Maroney. And Chief Yanagisawa on it. On number 2. And I just wanted to say enjoy, boys. But so it's amazing how a firefighter will speak up when his paycheck doesn't depend on it anymore, right? And I mentioned to the county team that so many firefighters, whether they're retired or active duty, are supplementing their income by joining these groups called Fire Risk Alliance or ESRGs. It's like a group of firefighters that stand over the developer, and their job is to sell that project safely. Just to paint it as a safe project and sell that and give credibility to that opinion to the community. So, oh look, the firefighters say it's safe.
Right. Like the guy that they had.
Yes, like the Fire Risk Alliance guy there, and then the Canyon Country Best, they had a meeting, and they had a guy from New York, because they were doing the same thing for Fire Risk Alliance. So, I said, I'm very happy to see Chief Cabrera stand up, and he's obviously not one of those people, and he's speaking the truth, and it's refreshing. So, anyway, that got shared with LA County.
On that note, I wanted to point out one of the things we talked about in the town council letter on the REO is, and maybe some of you guys remember, because regional planning posted a BEST meeting on REO, but just focused on BEST. And somebody from a fire code guy, exact same thing. He said things like HF hydrogen fluoride, which is very toxic, so one of the most toxic things that come out of these best fires. HF is a misnomer, and it's not a problem. And HF doesn't extend beyond a few feet beyond the battery when the fire happens. So our letter's talking about that and pulling up data from Vistra. EPA started monitoring HF more than 48 hours after the fire, and it was still finding HF in low levels, but some distance away. But while water was pouring on it, and long after the worst part of the fire. So, you know, when you put water on a vest, that will probably knock down a lot of the HF, but it takes a long time to get the water on there, right? You know, by that in 20 minutes, right? And so a lot of HF comes out. So anyway, that same, LA County, the people writing the best ordinance have been told, talked to by one of these guys. Right there, lying, I was looking at his face going, you cannot be saying this. So we're trying to address that same issue.
And he's a retired firefighter.
Yeah.
I dealt with him on another.
Well, he's also, I mean, he says he doesn't work for energy developers. Well, I found in Texas, he gave testimony to the Texas legislature in favor of 2 different best energy developer consortiums, which, and we talked about that in the letter too, so.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, we're calling that guy out.
Yeah, we're calling that. Called it on that night too. The comments that are going into the Prairie Song docket, I got to thinking, you know, when I read the application and I started reading the new stuff that's coming in from the developer that they were required to submit, they had to list every sensitive receptor, every home, school, church, whatever, within a certain distance. I think it was 1,000 feet, maybe. I think it might be 1,000 feet. Or maybe it was a mile. Maybe it was a mile. I'm trying to think. They had to list every property and every church and school and whatnot. And I noticed that Active Faith Bible wasn't on the list. And then I realized that, oh, and they also have a school that's been approved. So I wrote to Pastor Wilson, and I said, could you please write comments to the docket and make sure they understand from you that you have an approved school, and this is where your location is. So that went in the docket today.
Oh, that's good.
So we're just trying to, you know, tie up a lot of loose ends on anything we can do to support our opposition to this project.
Yeah.
The town chief Cabrera also submitted written comments to the CEC docket for the compass.
I also took those comments because they were basically universal comments that would apply to any best because they focused on the battery technology mostly. So I sent
Oh, you
those,
submitted them in the Angelino?
submitted those to our LA County team also.
Oh, you could submit them in the Angelino Fest too.
Yeah.
Because each one is a separate record. I would do that. I would recommend you do that.
Okay. I'll do
Just
that.
because you have to build the record in each one.
Mhm. So yeah, because county's not including that project, so yeah, but I mean, it was, those comments were submitted on behalf of the Compass project. But, yeah, they are universal, they basically are dealing with, he talks about the UL 9540A test methods, which
Piece of garbage.
Jackie and I have looked at that and said, they tested under a 12-mile-an-hour wind speed, which is not real life condition, and verbatim, this is what this fire chief says, not real world conditions. And he said that they're doing large scale testing through CSA, I think it's the large scale testing, but he's recommending that that all local governments and authorities having jurisdiction, they do large scale testing because the UL 948 is worthless. And it's highly likely that a fire will spread to another container. Because he talks about the let it burn, everything he says, it's like I've said, you've said. It was just nice to hear it come out of somebody's mouth that has the credibility of being a battalion chief. Yeah. And I forget what else, but he had all these other positions that he's held. So he
Hazmat positions.
Yeah, he wasn't just a regular battalion chief. He's been involved on all those levels. So anyway, that was refreshing to get that today. And yeah, so we're just waiting for our humidor ruling, and if the humidor rules in our favor, that will help us because it's based on the interpretation memo that the county used to approve the humidor and do it through a ministerial review. I mean, it's complicated and there's a lot of twists and turns to it, but if they shoot that approval down in court, then it's going to affect the Prairie Song in that they mentioned that interpretation memo in their application. So they're leaning on that, even though the judge is saying, I don't know about that, you know. So the judge makes a ruling and says that that approval has to be thrown out because that interpretation memo is inappropriately applied to M1, which it was. Then that memo won't stand for the Prairie Song project. And the Prairie Song being on Ag 1, A1 and A2 land, in the zoning code under A1 and A2, it says generating and energy storage devices are prohibited. So it specifically refers to battery or energy storage under A1 and A2. So you can't apply the memo there because there's specific mention of the use. If there was no mention of the use, that's when you can wave your magic wand and apply it and say, oh, well, here, we'll apply this here. But you can't apply it if it was specifically mentioned in the code as being prohibited. So, anyway, that's all I know.
Isn't the Soledad fault line right there?
Yeah, that's been brought up by resident comments, and they try in their application and then what they're turning in to the CEC, they waved that away saying that that fault wasn't a certain type of fault. They had some name for it.
But it's 5 miles away from a major fault.
Yeah, but they're saying that therefore it doesn't apply because it's not this.
They couldn't pick a worse place if they planned it.
No, I mean, you got all the Santa Ana's come that way. You
You
got faults all around.
You got the railway.
You got the railway, you got a major highway. It's like, literally, it's like.
The head of the Santa Clara River.
Yes, it's like literally like you
Don't
go.
you guys know it's the perfect place for this?
Yes. Good enough.
Don't you know?
If you're for that link, you find that on your Action for Action or your Facebook page? Or?
If you need to make the comments?
Yeah, okay.
I actually put it out on all the social media sites, but are you not on Nextdoor or?
I'm on Nextdoor and I've seen it.
I can send it to you directly.
Yeah, could you please?
remember too, the representatives from the company had no hesitation to live near this. No, within 5 miles of this.
Yeah.
He didn't tell you it's gonna be his third house. That's the house that he would be 5 houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just her, it's the other ones. Okay, all right, minutes.
Okay, so everybody made the changes for this last,
And the last meeting, I gave you all of the, January, all the way to this. So Jackie hadn't actually read them, so she just maybe make the motion, so that they can.
I move that for the old ones, right?
To
Yes.
July.
To July, yeah. Okay, so just.
Thank you for coming.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you too.
So this is very interesting. I just happened to look this up while she's doing this. The Soledad Fault is identified by the LA County as a major active surface fault. LA County Emergency Response,
And I believe it's 5
Chief
miles
Executive
from San
Office.
Andreas.
Yeah, which is like,
Office of Emergency
Could
Management.
affect that.
yeah, one of
so we,
those.
that's another thing we can attack on, because they tried to debunk that in their application response. They tried to say that, oh, well, it's not that kind of, it had to be a certain kind of fault to qualify as being a problem. I'm like, you're right by the San Andreas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hello?
look, let's just count that one, yeah.
Mountains, why do you think they got there? These are all earthquake for, I mean.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go
Turn your right,
when you were writing, so.
Is also to go back and track.
Okay, so yeah.
Through that area, and the one
All right,
line
so we have a motion, we have a second.
Yeah, because that's what the fire department are talking about,
Second.
that's what they were about. because of
All
the
right,
businesses.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So we actually, like, this is the consistent one.
Do the
Motion for the August 4th.
Okay, one.
I recommended one small change.
Yes, and I got a change from June. So
Okay.
I have corrections.
Okay,
So you want.
how do you want to do it?
I usually just, let's see, motion
Do whatever you say.
to approve the minutes
With the corrections.
Okay. Motion, a second? Second. John, you have a second on that? All right, here's
Who,
John second.
John second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Picture. Yeah, committee reports. Okay, education. Okay. Planning coordinating.
Okay. Get input from people in Acton on areas in Acton where there should be brush clearances. So I need people, if you know of places where there need brush, certain canyons or certain areas that are of concern to you for brush clearance, please contact the ATC and I will forward that soon. Because I need to get
What is going to happen to it?
Well, I'm, okay, at the CWW, Community Wildfire Protection Plan, CWD, they said, here are the priorities that we've heard from people, you know, and we didn't necessarily agree with some of them, but anyway, one of them was identifying areas where brush clearance is concerned. I mean, I know Acton, but I don't know.
Yeah, obviously, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but I mean, what's gonna,
So
so,
they're gonna put it into the plan for our community, these
How about like a
areas.
substation?
yeah.
The Edison property that never gets cleared.
Yeah, I'll add that.
And we got the developer to go out there at the Hecate Fullmark group to go clear where the tires supposed to be, because that hadn't been cleared. And residents were reaching out to me saying, I cleared my property, and that 40 acres up there hasn't been cleared, and it's a threat to my property. So I said, well, here's who you can contact.
What I'm getting at though is like, okay, so if somebody says, my neighbor there's nobody there.
No, it's supposed to be general area, like, you know, like northern part of
Sure,
Red Road.
right.
I mean, I'm just trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
I don't,
Cool, okay.
Can I share you this contact and you call in and they'll probably be able to tell you exactly who there is?
Is that, oh, it's Station 80?
Yeah.
Well, and this is for LA County, so I'll ask them to talk to, is it
Yeah.
Captain Cole?
Yeah, there's 3 captains, you have A, B, and C, so. Well, that's their
Yeah, yeah,
shifts,
yeah.
you know, so it just
Thank
depends
you very
on.
much.
And you don't want to be a C shifter.
But they would gladly give you,
Yeah.
because when I've gone over there talking.
Okay, I'll just tell them that, you should coordinate with the fire stations in each community.
Yeah.
They would know, yeah.
They know exactly what.
That's a
we're
great
doing.
idea. Thanks very
Thank you
much.
for that.
Mhm.
All right, okay. Publicity, social media stuff, things. Finance committee meetings, Pam texted me over here and said that the mailbox is up, I guess for 6 months, and so she wanted to approve
Oh,
that sort of thing.
okay,
So she can do that. She wanted to be here.
okay. She doing okay?
She did not reply to that, so I will have a phone tomorrow.
Okay.
Community standards and decorum? Okay. Trails and open space and recreation?
Okay, we've been asked by Justin Seastrand, who is the, what's his title? He's the head guy at the Forest Service in charge of the San Gabriel Mountains National Monument. He has asked for a letter of support, let me pull it up, for a project that they're putting on, sorry.
No, you're okay.
They want to, they're trying to get, there's a parcel of land that's an in-holding in the forest at the end of Arrastre Canyon, near all the TNC property, the Nature Conservancy property, where they had the IU the other day, or a couple months ago. There's a big in-holding of land that the Forest Service wants to purchase and have it become part of the, it's privately held now, okay? So they're asking for a letter of support for that. So, and you guys all, I don't know if you saw it, but I made a point that this is the map they sent us, but there are a lot more trails on the property. For example, there's a trail that goes all the way from TNC to it. So we wanted to make sure that all the existing trails are going to remain, including the Divide Road, which is the main road. So, and they're working with the Trust for Public Lands on this, and I explained to him, or his staff person, that we have, Trust for Public Lands does a lot of work with MRCA to secure property in Akron, giving us the bird, basically. You know, that TPL doesn't gender us. And she wrote back and assured us that the trails will all remain and that they just really want it for all the connectivity, and apparently there's a lot of cultural resources out there, which is probably true. By the way, they didn't know about any of the cultural resources until the station fire cleared everything out in 2009. Oh, yeah, so much stuff, it was amazing. But anyway, anyway. So I told him, I said, well, I'm too full to put on the agenda, I can bring it up in a committee meeting. If it's quick, if you guys want to support it, I don't know if you had a chance to read what he said. It was just very brief, but it seemed like a good idea.
I was glad you brought up the MRCA.
Yeah, it's not MRCA.
I was glad that you,
Yeah.
you know, but you connected the dots as far as like, this is why, so I appreciate you at least. Yeah, I mean.
What do you all think? Or he said, I said I could